Can't leave it alone.
Is it pulling over there? Is it okay?
You're good. That's the backup plan.
Oh, we got the backup plan right here then. And we got plenty of room.
Don't cut the blue wire.
Or this one.
I'm going to call the June 24th, 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. It's now 7 o'clock. Roll call. Tiffany?
Mr. Keiser? Mr. Porcase?
Here.
Dr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Megditch?
Here.
Mr. Selenius?
Here.
Mr. Barnes?
Here.
You've all had the minutes from the April 29th meeting for some time now, and I'm trusting that you've reviewed those. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. On our agenda, the first item is Todd and Amber Shapiro, 228 Madison Street. If you'll come up to the, you don't both have to come up. You've told them what to say already, right? Okay.
I have instructions, yes.
If I can have you raise your right hand so we can swear you in.
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, yes.
Okay. If you could state your name and address for the record and explain what it is that you're wanting to do.
Name is Todd Shapiro. Address is 228 Madison Street in Ravenna here. We're actually looking to replace our existing fence that I know has been on the property for a long period of time. One of the reasons we bought the property was obviously the size of the yard, as well as having the enclosed fence, because we do have dogs. We have rescue dogs that we have. We currently have 6 in the household now. But the fence, unfortunately, is of disrepair. And I did see the packet briefly when we came in. There's some issues with some boards that are coming off. Due to the age of the fence, there's some rotting from underneath because it does sit along 2 sides on grass. So the moisture that we have, unfortunately, is rotting some of those boards underneath. We like the fact that obviously there is some seclusion from the road and the sidewalk in that one small section that obviously keeps our dogs inside and safe, and as well as having any issues with anybody walking along the street as well. We're not looking to make any changes to what we have. We're just basically looking to replace the existing fence.
Same footprint as the
Yes, it does need, I know it does need to sit further back from the sidewalk. I know that is one of the zoning regulations that you have. So it needs to sit a minimum of 2 feet back, which we have addressed with the fence company as well, and no issues with that.
Looked like there was somebody.
He had,
Dr. Miller?
it's got to come back 2 feet off the sidewalk.
Yes.
And now the fence you're putting up, is that a stockade fence like this?
Yes.
This would be a stockade, the one, I'm pointing at the picture of your property.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. And you need the variance because according to our law, you're supposed to be 3 foot high, so you need a 3-foot variance because you're going to make it 6 foot high, which is what this is now.
Correct.
Okay, got it. That's what I thought. And we're going to use the stockade fence, so it's the same kind of deal, so you can't see in there, right?
Yes.
I know I looked, I couldn't see. I thought there was a swimming pool, but there wasn't.
There was a property or a swimming pool on right off the deck within that fenced area, but we've removed that
Yeah,
since
when I
we
looked
moved
at
in.
it, I didn't see it. I know. Okay, so you need a 3-foot variance, that's what you're shooting for the fence, and you're going to keep it 2 feet off the sidewalk like the city ordinance says.
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
We've lived there, it'll be 10 years, October 1st this year. So,
And was the fence there when you moved in?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, one of our neighbors that Amber speaks with regularly has lived across the street 27 years and said that's been there at least that long. So considering the condition it's in, I'm actually surprised at how durable it's been.
I live 2 blocks up the street from you, and I pass your house regularly on things. And
Oh.
I've been there. We've lived there for 35 years, and I think the fence has always been there, so.
I believe the Cashados put that up
That
years
could
and
be.
years ago when they lived there. Drew and Cindy Cashado used to live there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the other issues we have too, and the reason we were looking to replace the fence was the gates. There's one on the front side of the property on Madison and one on Spruce, and they've just rotted out to the point that they're pretty much in disrepair. I can use the one that runs along Madison Street, I've actually screwed into the existing post and just kept it as a fixed.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Pugs, so we have smaller ones. So we have pugs, we have a couple Chihuahua pug mixes. We have a miniature pinscher mix that she's a character.
Okay.
Larry, you look like you had a question.
Your new fence going to be wood,
Yes,
treated,
yes.
painted?
It's going to be natural. So they've discussed about, us potentially staining it, but we wanted to at least get it up and then, look to see what we would want to do from there. We very much just wanted to keep it a natural look, basically the same as it is right now.
Questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to grant the variance.
So moved.
Okay, Clark, I think.
I'll
Vince, you were second. Roll call, please.
3-foot height variance with 2 feet off the sidewalk, right?
Correct.
Okay. Alrighty. Mr. Megditch,
Yes.
Mr. Barnes,
Yes.
Mr. Selenius,
Yes.
Mr. Keiser,
Yes.
Mr. Porcase,
I had the house right next door, 229.
Okay. Yes. Oh,
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes. We'll see the building department on whatever needs to happen on things. Have a beautifully kept property, I would tell you.
oh, thank you.
Nice to come off of Main Street and see that house and know that you're not going into the depths of wherever. It's very, very nice,
Yes,
nicely kept.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
All set?
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
everybody. Have a great evening.
you survived, so
I spent a lot of time in that house when I was a kid.
you're welcome. Okay, Melanie Twitten, is that, do I have that pronounced right? Tweeten, okay. Sorry. I hate to do that to people.
Oh, that's okay. I'm a teacher, so I hear it all the time.
Okay. If you could raise your right hand first. Yeah, that's the one. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
If you can state your name, your address, and then your request, please.
Sure. My name's Melanie Tweeten. My address is 1272 Shadow Lawn. I'm new to the area. I just moved here in November after looking for a house for about 3 years because I really, really wanted a pool because I'm a teacher. So I finally found my spot, and I'm very happy with it. But I really would like to replace the existing chain link fence with a privacy fence because I do have that pool, and it would be really nice to have some privacy while I'm in the pool. Also, I have a dog, and my dog likes to bark at all the dogs in the neighborhood, and they all like to bark at her. And I think that if they couldn't see each other, that could kind of tone that down a bit. Most importantly, I think it would be a huge safety benefit to both me as a single woman and also to, neighborhood children. I wouldn't want a neighborhood kid to see an empty pool and decide to go take on the pool, recognizing that I'm not at home. I already purchased the fence through Lowe's, a white vinyl fence, but then I got the notification that along Shadow Lawn couldn't be a 6-foot high fence, so here I am. Walking my dog around my neighborhood, though, I do see a handful of homes that do have privacy fences on a corner. So there are at least 3 that I could think of right around my house. It wouldn't impede traffic visuals as far as it's not right up on the corner. So I don't think it would be a problem with that kind of thing. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Other questions from the?
That fence you've got now is 3 foot high, is that right?
Yes.
Now, in the back, you have to stay 2 foot away from, like we said to the other guy, off the sidewalk. You have to be 2 foot away from where the alley goes behind your house there.
There's not an alley.
Is that a drive or what is that?
Um,
I'm not sure, I saw that.
So-
Because you're on the corners.
I'm on the corner. Right behind my house is another person's driveway. Because my house doesn't actually face Shadow Lawn. It's called Shadow Lawn, but it faces Summit Street.
Right.
I see, yeah, I saw that.
So like behind the fence, behind the pool is my neighbor's driveway.
And so you gotta be, what, 5 foot off there?
No, she has her property line.
Okay. I wasn't sure where their fence was now in relation to the property line.
Well, and the only section you're looking to replace, is it just the section that's facing Shadow Lawn?
Oh, no, I want to, the whole thing.
The whole way around, okay.
The whole thing I
Okay.
want to do.
You
but
just need a variance for the section
Shadow
that
Lawn
does
side.
face
Correct.
Shadow Lawn.
And I
Okay.
think it would be kind of weird looking to have
Yeah,
a
no.
privacy fence around the whole thing except for the part where people actually would be looking in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just finally got the pool open on Friday, and it is sort of weird to be in it and see all the people, you know? Just the other day I had somebody, I don't know, it might have been one of you, but park and just sit there, and I'm like, this is a little bit embarrassing, you know? So,
Doc, why'd you do that?
Well, I'll tell you what, he wanted to stop, and she's right on the corner, so I wasn't at the corner, I was actually off the corner, and he wanted
I
to
was
do
just
that.
oh, was it you guys?
It was us.
Oh, that makes sense.
I live in that
pulled out of the
same
drive.
neighborhood as you. I'm
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sunnywood at the back of Shadow Lawn, but I can tell you people park there and on the street all the time. So
Right.
whether they should be parking there or not, sometimes they will.
It's a little bit terrifying, hopefully not.
So you're not a nudist?
No, actually, one of my friends recommended that I come and say that, and they thought for sure I'd get the variance if I said it. I was like, I can't say that.
This is getting way out of hand. Gentlemen.
And you started it.
No, I asked if that was you that made the stop with the car.
It was. One of my
That's as far as
black
my
Tahoes,
questioning
yeah.
went.
I know, but they took
I
it.
didn't say for what purpose.
They ran.
Okay, well, I have a question. There seems to be a lot of material in the backyard, buildings and so forth, sheds and so, do I have the wrong property?
There's
You're
not
you're right on
any,
the corner,
there's not any, I don't know what you mean. There's not any sheds.
okay. I thought I saw-
What color was the house you were looking at?
Pardon?
What, do you remember what color the house was you
No,
were looking at?
I looked at where the fence
Okay,
was.
so
Okay.
there's not any sheds. It's basically, it's
Then
just a,
is it the next property over that has a bunch of stuff?
maybe.
in the
They got a lot of building materials and stuff outside of their garage and things, yes, like bricks or something, I don't know.
Pulled up here.
But no, I don't really have anything. I have patio furniture.
The dog.
I have a dog.
Yeah.
He barked a lot.
She does, yeah. She's pretty old. I think in her vision's going. I don't think if she couldn't see you, she wouldn't bark.
Okay,
So the fence you're gonna put up is like that other guy's stockade fence, what they call it, wooden fence?
No, it's white, the white vinyl fence.
Okay, but you can't see through it.
You can't see through it, correct?
I had your property confused with the next one over, I think.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Because we had a variance request last year, and I don't know how he could get anything more in the backyard than he had at that time. So I'm sorry for confusing
That's okay.
the property, but that's why I asked the question.
I appreciate it, no problem.
You understand your neighbors can all see over the fence from their upstairs.
I know, and I do think about that, but it's a neighbor. You know what I mean? It's not people just walking down the
Their dog
road,
was sitting
driving
on the
down the road. I mean, I know my neighbor to the left of, well, this side, John and Mary, they're super nice. I'm not worried about them looking out the window. I just mean like the general public, you know?
There was a dog in the window across the road from him. sitting up.
Yeah, that dog always just sits there.
Yeah, I
That
saw
one's
that.
quiet. The one in the White House and my dog bark a lot at each other.
Okay, other relevant questions for our applicant?
You started it.
I made an observation, Doc.
Yeah, you did great, man. I'm proud of you. Done you a long time.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to grant the variance.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on, I have one thing. So I didn't really have any complaints
Oh,
or
I'm sorry, yeah. I should-
calls or issues. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. 690 Summit did say, she called up and she wanted an explanation. And her only comment was, I just don't want this whole neighborhood to be boxed in. So I don't know if she's referring, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was the only thing she said. She didn't, specifically say anything negative, or that was all she said. So,
All right, well, thank you for that.
okay, you're welcome.
Do we have any public comment on the other?
There was something, but she had the wrong house.
Okay.
So once I explained, it had nothing to do with them, yeah. So
Okay.
we're okay.
Okay, sorry, I didn't ask that before. Okay, motion,
I
Doctor?
propose we give them the variance, 3-foot variance as requested, so that their privacy fence can now be 6 foot, in fact, all the way around the property. And
2
it,
feet off.
and it will be 2 feet off the sidewalk.
Is there a second to the motion? Ken? Okay. Further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Porcase?
Yes.
Mr. Keiser?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Megditch?
Yes.
Mr. Selenius?
Yes.
Mr. Barnes?
Yes.
Okay. You're
Thank
set to go.
you. Thank you so much.
Where do you teach, by the way, just as a matter of interest? Do you teach here in Ravenna, or?
No, I actually teach at the middle school in Kent.
Oh, okay.
I teach math and science.
Well, good
Seventh grade.
Good for you. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Okay, Jameson Munnings. Jameson, I feel like you ought to have a 6-gun on and a 10-gallon hat. Jameson.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
How you doing today?
Okay, if you could raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you'd state your name, your address, and what you're requesting, please.
Yes, my name is Jameson Munnings. I live at 671 Page Street here in Ravenna. I'm a union iron worker with Local 17 Cleveland. I install rebar insulation. I actually worked on your LG Chem project a couple of years ago. Did the whole footers on that first building and that rear, plus this guard shack as well. Yeah, just coming here today. So I've been running into some issues with my house where I'm getting a lot of water intake against my walls, and it's making them go south. So what I was trying to propose today is on that graph, I'm not sure if you all have it, but what I was trying to propose is when I bought the house in 2017 of October, about 8 years this October, I presumably bought a driveway with the house in that area, and I wasn't aware of the aerial view or the property line cutoffs on this, because the seller was very poorly communicated with the sale of this house. And before I seen those lines, the driveway I presumably thought was within my area. I was just trying to put like a double curb concrete driveway, kind of to hold up like water from rushing into my house, and kind of just trying to damage these walls. So I was just trying to find a way of shedding water to get away from the house, and just to basically have a clear path to the garage that's on the property now. So it was just a thought. I came to Tiffany just with the idea because after I did see an aerial view of the house and the property, I noticed the line did go through the middle there, which was a huge surprise, to be honest, and I knew it was going to be an issue. So I just had a thought like, hey, I need to figure out a way to get this water out. I'd like to do a driveway, but I know there's an issue with that line. So I talked to Tiffany and the other engineer who's been very helpful in this whole case for me. And so I know that I've been on my neighbor Mike. He's a good neighbor of mine. We talk a lot. I know we work together with the neighbors across the street because they're a pain in the butt. So no, I was just trying to just have a clear pathway to the back of the house. I was just trying to kind of retain water at the same time to rush it out so it wasn't going into my house, because the property sits higher than the house and the garage. So all these storms that have been happening in the last month, I've been in major panic because I'm getting water flow into my house and it's blowing out the walls. So I'm trying to financially not get hurt with these walls, so I'm trying to find a way to kind of remedy that. And like I said, I thought the driveway was mine, but I understand with the property line that's not. So I was trying to see from a new wording of an easement or of an asking of putting a strip through there, if it was to be, compensated monetarily, whatever it is to just to get a 8-foot wide path there and cut it back into the property line itself, kind of shown on the diagram that you see. But I understand that, with like the property line that I did see this morning before the meeting, or this afternoon before the meeting, it kind of takes out the even thought of doing it. But I was just trying to see if there was a possibility, just to kind of get an idea of what I can do to help with my water issue. And like I said, I was going to do a double curbside, just to kind of keep the water from going into the neighbor's home, because I know he mentioned that his wall was fixed at one time because of water damage. So I didn't want that to happen for him, yet alone for myself. And I thought maybe it kind of spruce up the look a little bit too. But this was just a thought and idea to kind of, if I could do something like that for the future. This isn't something I'm trying to do right away, to try to hurry up and put a driveway in. And like I said, it's just, I wanted to inquire first what my options are. I'd like to go that route if I could, just because of cost and logistics and stuff like that. But I totally get it with it being in that variance, with it being with the houses so close. But they did mention that there is other opportunities to maybe go on the other side of the home. I do own that lot. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to go that side if I could, but I understand there's other options to go, and that's fine. I'm very workable, very understanding. Like I said, I do foundations, footers, so I understand working within the parameters of blueprints, with inspectors. So, yeah, I'm just coming for what you guys recommend that I could do. Like I said, if there's any possibility I can monetarily compensate for just a little bit of the easement I'm trying to take, because I've been using that driveway or pathway for the last 8 years. So it was just kind of something that all I was trying to do different to it was just put like a double curb sidewalk, or not sidewalk, but driveway, if I could.
Okay. I think, Bob, you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So we replaced the water line on Page 4 or 5 years ago now. And when I looked at the drawing, I realized that Jameson only has about 4.5 feet from the house to the property line. So originally he didn't know where the property line was. So the thought was Board of Zoning Appeals could grant a variance that he was requesting once he located the property line. Now that I have determined 99% sure that he only has about 4.5, maybe 5 feet from the edge of the house to the property line, there's no way to get a driveway in there. He owns as he said, the lot to the north, which is approximately 10.5 feet wide. So he could build his driveway on that side of the property and never have an issue again. He would still need Board of Zoning Appeals approval for a setback. Again, it's R3, so it has a 5-foot side yard setback.
From the neighbors on the north side.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a drawing showing the tax map
I was looking at this.
of his property, albeit a small sliver, it's 10 feet.
So
Somewhere
we
in
need
this
to have
packet.
driveway, 8 foot?
Well, ideally 10 feet, but 8, 9 feet, 9 feet probably, so I would,
This drawing.
I would recommend if he could have a 4-foot side yard variance, that would give him 1 foot from the property line. And then to the house, which he doesn't want to drive against the foundation, as nobody should be driving against their house foundation. Then he could have foot and a half, have enough room to drive a vehicle down his strip of land
On the north side.
on the north side, correct.
That's at the north side, because we looked at the
What
other
about
side.
drainage? Which way will the water flow on
Well,
that driveway?
So that's something that I told him I would work with him on directing away from the house, around the house,
And you
to
have a
make sure it
tarp over
doesn't.
some of that. There was a blue tarp. Looks like it came off your east spout in your drain. where your current driveway is, there's a blue tarp.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll
Sorry.
prevent the water from coming into your basement, I assume,
Yeah,
off
that-
that eave spouting there.
Yeah, that actually, that knocked out, half my, power. I'm gonna be having a repair done here soon, so they're gonna be drawing a permit for my electrical, because about a month ago, water's draining into the home, and it rusted out. I mean, this is what I'm told also from, a company, maybe they're just trying to oversell me, I don't know. But, I've been having intermittent power losses, and I still do. So they wanna do over $6,000 worth of repair, so.
Are you getting water in the basement from that?
Yeah, I mean, it's blowing out the walls.
I
mean,
saw it, yeah.
and, yeah, so I mean, in time, I do wanna, I don't know if I'll have to get a permit for that, but that section that's sitting against the house, that concrete, I was gonna try to rip that up and put like a new piece in there with a curb to kinda keep water from running into that wall, because that one's starting to fall apart too.
You got a
And,
sump
but
pump
yeah,
down- You got a sump pump down there?
I believe so, yes. Yep.
I think Bob's idea on the other side's the best idea. When I looked at it,
you
he
look-
showed me earlier.
If you look in your
Yeah,
packet,
me
it's
too,
the
me too.
third page to the end.
Yeah, I agree with Bob too. It's just, I didn't really have the lines established. And like I said, when I seen that the line was going through, that's kind of obvious. That's why, I'm trying to do right by just asking questions and seeing what the, possibilities are with it.
So if you find that little drawing, the white line to the north of his property is his property. It's an odd-shaped flag property. He actually owns that sliver, which opens up behind his and his neighbor's house behind.
Yeah, this odd shape.
Yeah, and the other reason too is, why I don't want to go on the other side is because I know that I'm gonna have to pull those two properties together. And that's gonna hurt me financially, because I'm sure that's gonna raise the value of the house. And if it does, or if it don't, I'm just misinformed. But my thought is, you add a bigger lot to a single property, it might push me out of Ravenna. You know what I mean? I don't know how much the taxes go up and
so
stuff
you-
like that. I know we got our escrow done in the property analysis last year done, and we live across Section 8 housing, so it's like I'm getting used to getting the jabs with this house. But like I said, I do like my neighbors. I do like the area. I do like the property and the town. I do have 2 kids, so I'm just trying to figure out what I can do, like I said, because they're gonna be driving soon. And with that little bit of property that you can see that I do have for cars to sit on, I'm not gonna be able to fit 2 more. So, Bob did show me the alternative to it, which makes sense in this case scenario. And, like I said, I'm willing to work with whatever I can work with, you know what I mean? So,
So to put a driveway in, you will not have to consolidate the lots.
okay,
You cannot build on a vacant lot, but you can put a driveway on that lot.
okay,
And it should not affect your property taxes.
okay. I appreciate
Should-
that. I'm learning
We
something every day.
we, the city, don't assess property taxes. We
Okay.
rarely collect property taxes. So I can't speak for the county,
Gotcha.
but our zoning code will not require you to consolidate. If you wanted to build on that lot, that'd be a different story.
Okay.
Just for a driveway, you don't have to.
Yeah, I appreciate that for letting me know, and, like I said, I had no idea about that, and I'm grateful for you guys to tell me those options, because, yeah, if I need to go on that side, I'll work with it, you know what I mean? That's fine.
So do you want to give him the variance for this tonight for
Well-
potential driveway, or do you want to wait until he gets the drawing and talks to Bob?
Well,
And I could do a better drawing for you too in the future if you want me to come back. I would just hope maybe I don't have to file the $100 if that's.
yeah, I think we could waive the $100 on the application and amend it, but it seems to me like we're a little bit premature.
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I'd like to,
we're
I'd
not
like to make
trying
a
to-
drawing for you, and like, I would like to also take some time to think about, what I can afford.
Sure.
And what's more economical, and, yeah, I'll find some sort of solution to it, and then when I do, I could repitch the idea to you guys in the future.
Yeah, and-
And, on one other side note too, I spoke with Bob also, with the issue that I'm getting on the, south side of the house, that would be the south side. I would like to at least add a sidewalk, something with a sidewalk and a curb to kind of keep that water off, like, because I hate water. I hate that basement. I told her I would love to fill it with concrete if I could. If I could jack that thing up and set it back 20 feet, I would. And, yeah, so I was just trying to see if maybe there's a possibility also, if I got to put it in the future, pitch you know, I would like to try to add a sidewalk at least to kind of keep some sort of runoff away from the home. And-
Does he need a variance for a sidewalk? So he can go to the property line with the sidewalk?
Yeah, he
On
mentioned
the
like four and a
south
half.
side.
I'm sorry, what was it?
On the south side, you can go to the property line with a sidewalk.
Okay. Okay. All right, yeah, and then when that time comes, I'll edit for the pitch for the other side of the house with the driveway then for futures.
So you're gonna look at drainage?
Yep, we'll meet when he's ready to do his drainage. Sure.
This other lot on the north side is his, so we don't need to worry about drainage really.
Correct.
And also, I mentioned to Bob too, is that the gentleman on the north, who's a rental property, 665, I think it is, I did write him a letter today to ask him if there is a chance that I could possibly buy 3 feet, because if I can't monetarily buy the strip that I'm trying to go through, if I could monetarily try to buy 3 to 4 feet of that gentleman's property from the street back to kind of give me more, because I'm trying to keep that driveway off that wall. I don't want that wall to get all this weight pressure against it, because the house is so old, it's just like, at the rate that it's going, I mean, I don't know if the driveway's gonna throw it out of whack, but, yeah, I'm gonna try to in the future, if I can get acquired that property, I would like to as well. Maybe push the, drive it back further, but that'll be at another time that I find that out.
No, and I think the board appreciates the fact that you want to get water away from the house. There's no question about that. That is a hardship, which would be a precondition to granting the variance. But it seems to me, and I'm not speaking for the whole board, I'm speaking for myself, it seems to me like there's too many balls in the air. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah, that's how my life is going right now, yep.
And I'm glad you're here tonight because you're taking some of those balls out of the air, But I think for us to grant a variance based upon some anticipation, we're a little bit premature.
That's fine.
I don't think we're hostile to you, obviously, but, we're in favor of alleviating the problem that you have, and if a variance will do that, I'm sure the board would go along with that. So maybe working with Bob and
Okay.
then it's gonna be, the timing's gonna be yours on what you can and cannot do. So you need to make the inquiries and then come back.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it then if that's, I'm speaking for the board. And I
So
don't
would you
mean
want to table it for now, on the premise that he comes back and then waive the $100 fee again?
Absolutely.
That'd be.
Yeah,
nice.
we won't charge you to
Maybe
come
give us
back.
another-
Oh, thank you.
You've
Thank you, I
paid
appreciate
once.
that.
Yeah, you've paid once,
Sounds
so.
good to you, Bob?
So
Absolutely.
we'll table it.
Okay, I need a motion to table.
I'll do that.
Okay. Larry, a second? Oh, sorry.
I don't know, 6 months, 3 months, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, because, as we're here, we can be honest and with everybody, but yeah, I'm trying to acquire a
How much
loan.
time do you need? What makes you comfortable?
Well, I'm hoping this loan goes through, that I can do all this. So I need at least maybe 3-4 months.
We'll give you 6. Let's go for 6. That way he's got plenty of time. Is that good for you, Bob?
Absolutely.
And that makes sense to the board then?
No, I appreciate that too. And like I said, coming into this meeting, I was just trying to ask for questions, and I was kind of sped along to come to the committee. So it may not seem organized, but also it's at the same time, I'm trying to find and feel out where I can and can't go with this, because it's a major issue for me, and I just want to make sure I'm doing everything by the book.
No, you're good. Like, you've already started the application too. So when you come back to us, you just kind of have to give us an updated site. You already have a lot of what we would like to see in your application,
Yeah.
so.
And then fine tune that, and if a variance is still needed at that point, we'll take a look at that. But, at this point, there's some things that you have to work out with the building department that it's not our jurisdiction.
Okay, and also on the apron, is that a city apron that has to be made, or would that be me to add the apron?
That'd be you.
Add the,
you would be
okay, and you guys
responsible.
probably have specifics on,
We'll work with you.
okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your help and, help me out. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
Some
thanks,
people,
man.
some people build first and then ask permission later, so.
Oh, no. Well, no, that's the thing. And it's like, I was raised right. I go to church, and I moved into this house, and there was a lot of BS that was thrown to me. And like as I've been living in this house, I'm seeing it little by little where I wasn't told a certain thing, or this wasn't mentioned, and now I got to run with it. So, I try to keep the faith that they're still good people and they deserve, honesty and respect. So that's kind of where I'm at in life. So, no, I just want to make sure I'm doing everything right.
Now, the people in the back there, are their neighbors of yours?
Yes, this is my neighbor, Mike. Yes.
Okay. Did either of you want to speak?
Yeah, I would.
Well, come on up to the microphone then, please, before we vote on the motion. And Mike, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing I've asked everybody else to, raise your right hand, and we're going to swear you in. You solemnly swear that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Could you state your name and your address, please?
Michael Gubkin, 675 Page Street, Ravenna.
Okay? You want to speak as to the request here, so
Sure.
go ahead.
I've had some issues with neighbors where I live, and it's been ongoing. I've been there for 35 years, and I've seen a lot of changes go on. And one of the changes that occurred was when people, this is with the previous owner, not you, with the previous owner, he had rental property there. And he was renting it, and there was a change of renters almost every 6 months to a year, so it seemed. And a lot of those folks would take their trucks and back it up over into my land across the boundaries and run over arborvitae bushes, taxis, I'm not going to name them, but I had a lot of different plants all up and down the property line because I'm a firm believer in a green fence. And I had given a lot of consideration to putting in a fence with some of these folks that I had problems with. But I didn't because I like oxygen. And my goodness, I will tell you a fact. My house stays cool even without the air conditioner on 24 hours. And it has to do with the trees. And unfortunately, there's a lot of tree haters across the street, near me, around me. And it's sad to see that go. But my property means a lot to me. I believe in the American dream. What you buy is what you own. And my understanding initially, when I got this letter, which I believe was 2 days ago, was that the land that was being suggested to become part of a new driveway on this close to my house and over into my property was not going to be an issue, but it is an issue because I don't want to give up my property. Means a lot to me. I've been there, like I say, 35 years. Another issue, and I'm not exaggerating any of this, somebody came from the garage in the back, this was a tenant over there, and backed his truck right into the corner of my house, and some of it came off. And I had the landlord owner fix it for me. So, okay, it's fixed. But I dread the idea of having a driveway that's busy all the time, every other hour of the day, however you want to phrase that. So that's a big concern with me. A second concern is when I heard about the water. I had water issues, and I believe it's very similar to the kind of problem that Jameson has. And the water problem started kind of in a nebulous way. The wall, the lower part of the wall, the half of the wall that comes from the bottom, like it's growing, started to bow out like that. That would be its profile. And right here, there's a seam, and the other part of the wall started to deviate further and further. So in other words, there was a crack about that wide between the two, and I'm being a seer into the future, thinking, where is this going to go? My intellect, whatever's left of it at this age, has funneled in on the concept that that wall is going to flatten itself. So I hired one of these basement waterproofer fixers that come over, give you an analysis of the situation, and their suggestion, and it made a lot of sense, was to tear the whole wall out. And of course, they found there's no footers in the house. So, for those of you who don't know, the footer is what the wall sits on. If the footer's not there, you get slippage, you get collapsing, you get buckling. So anyway, they went ahead, tore the whole thing out, rebuilt the wall, did a beautiful job. It's the 8x8 concrete block. And on top of that, they used rebar. Yeah, I know that. That is rebar. Okay. They used rebar to kind of pin the various concrete blocks together. I thought that was an ingenious idea. I really liked that. And then they went ahead, they built the footer, put the bricks on. I don't want to talk too long on this, but they made a very beautiful wall. And that was done in 2011. On that side of the house, now this is the north side of the house, next to yours. There's no water in there at all. Now, there's a little bit of dampness. The house is 100 years old, darn close. You know, it's okay with me. When I was a kid, I lived in homes that were about that old, and the basements are somewhat damp. So there's a little bit of dampness, and I imagine that if one wanted to, they could tear out the floor and seal it up with, what is that called, nature stone or something like that. Totally unnecessary. But where am I going with this?
I don't want to cut you off, but,
I'm talking too much.
well, no, there has to be some relevance as to your comments on the request for the variance. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
I understand you've had water
Yes.
problems and you're confirming what Jameson told us, but you've got to speak either in support or in opposition to the variance request. So, again, I appreciate your philosophy of life, but,
Okay, I'll cut it off.
okay, all right.
You want me to
So
address?
it sounds like you would also be in support of the driveway going on the other side of the house.
On the north side of the house,
yeah.
100%, no problems. And it was a thought that went through my mind when I saw the drawing. You don't need to go onto my property, you've got plenty on the other side. And it doesn't show in, I believe it's the plat map, but I have a plat map, and I also decided to go to the map office here and get a tax map. And they're telling me there's a huge difference between the two. And then I had an education on the difference between the two. And I believe, and I'm staying on topic, I believe the tax map had an irregular or a not very accurate drawing of the properties that are adjacent to what was drawn. So that was revealed in the tax map. Am I getting that right? Never mind. Jeez, my
But,
backup.
but as Mr. Magnich pointed out, you have no problem with the variance, but we're planning on tabling the request until we get some more information on things. But as far as the proposed plan, not the application itself, but the proposed plan to put the driveway on the north side, you have no opposition to that?
I don't have opposition with that.
Okay.
No.
That's what we need to know.
On my side, the south side, I do.
Okay. All right. Very good. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
You're fine. That's fine. All right. We have a motion on the floor to table for 6 months. The request here by Mr. Munnings. And is there further discussion or questions? We have the motion already.
You need a second, you said?
I think we have a second, don't we? All right, well, then I'll ask for a second. Larry? Dr. Miller?
Okay.
And Larry would be the second. He was a little bit faster than Vince. So.
Okay.
All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Dr. Miller? Mr., wait, hold on, sorry. Who am I? Mr. Slenius. Mr. Slenius. Larry.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Barnes.
Yes.
Mr. Magditch.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes?
Mr. Porcase. Yes. Mr. Keiser.
Yes.
Okay, keep working with the building department. And,
Will do.
And I would check with the auditor's office on whether or not combining those two lots is going to impact your property tax. I don't think it will.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Because-
look into that, you know, and, you know, like I said, until I seen this morning, or I'm sorry, this afternoon, until I seen that final map, it kind of makes sense that it would, kill the option of what I was trying to do. But just on the record, I wasn't trying to take no one's land. I was just respectfully just trying to make sure I was working within what I could do.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'll just work with what I can on on the south side of the house, just to kind of keep some water runoff.
Sure.
And I'll work with Bob and Tiffany, and I hope to be back here soon. If everything can go faster, I'll be back here sooner.
We want you to preserve the property.
Yeah, no, definitely. The house was built in 1901. I feel like it's got some history with Ravenna, and I'd like to keep it alive, because I wouldn't go through all this trouble if I didn't want it. I
Right,
would just let it
exactly.
go to shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go to.
It's all right, we'll edit that. Thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
sir. You guys have a good day.
Thank you for your forthrightness. Okay. Any other business to come before the board? Did I not? I thought it did. Yeah. Sorry.
We will have a meeting next month. We
Okay.
received an application today for another fence. This is gonna be the summer of fences. We got the summer of sheds, garages, this year fences.
I wish, it's the last Thursday, or last
Tuesday of July.
I wish that people would think about the green fence. You can do a lot of things that are attractive and give you proper privacy, and I just, the Indians are coming, that's not on the record, but, we're, put the loopholes in, and, the Indians are coming. I'm getting a little bit tired of fences, but anyway, motion to adjourn. All right, Vince?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, we're done. Thank you, gentlemen. Well, it was a memorial service. Well, it was a memorial service for a friend, and Denise Isakala. She and Ray, well, she was a registered